Thanks for joining us on the 208. Brian Holmes is off today. Let's start the program with a rhetorical question for you. How can you tell the difference between good oversight finding issues versus a flawed program that was destined to see problems? I don't have an answer for you, but that is the question that is front and center in the Empowering Parents Grants discussion. If you don't know this, Empowering Parents, it sends Idaho families with students funds that can be used to purchase educational goods and services. And the idea is to take on COVID learning loss. So families are eligible for grants up to $1,000 per student with a maximum award of $3,000 per family. And those grant dollars are used in an online marketplace run by a contracted company called Odyssey, where families can get supplies and educational materials. And Idaho law makes it very clear money has to be used on eligible education expenses. In fact, Idaho Code 33-1030 gives an exact definition in law and detail on what is and is not eligible. Since programs like Strong Families, Strong Students and Empowering Parents have rolled out, there's been questions about who's keeping track and if all dollars are going to eligible purchases. It appears the answer to the second question right now is no. Back in mid-February, the State Board of Education staff says that they noticed some purchases for things such as clothing, televisions, smartwatches, and household cleaning supplies, items not qualified for purchase under the Idaho program. We told you about this on May 1st. Now, purchases from the program have been under review and continue to be. And this bubbled all the way up to Governor Little's office. Governor Little wrote a letter to the leaders of the State Board of Education on June 9th. Let's review the highlights. Again, we reported issues stemming from at least February. So Governor Little writes that only recently did his staff get specifics on the issue. He writes, quote, "I expect all agencies within my administration to communicate early and often on matters of this magnitude. Let's work toward improved communication on the internal OSB staff review moving forward." So some things to work on, but Little's letter has a clear plan and instructions to the State Board of Education. He says that he wants to make the process of reviews faster and include more resources. Little writes, "I am offering the Division of Financial Management to contract with an independent third party to conduct a full financial audit of the program and status of eligible versus ineligible purchases." The governor goes on to say that by June 16th, which is this Friday, the State Board needs a report and plan of action to strengthen accountability and review all the contracts to see if Idaho can recoup tax dollars that were used on impermissible purchases. So for now, those asking, no, we don't know if Idaho can recoup tax dollars. We'll have to find out. The current punishment, if you're wondering, for misusing program funds, per the law that set up the program, the account with impermissible purchases, it loses access to the grant program. So what is the State Board of Education going to do? Well, they met today for their board meeting over in Pocatello, and the team there talked it over and learned insights on the program. For starters, there is a massive scope that is now being looked at.
Began an independent review of all the purchases made in the platform. That's a pretty big undertaking because we're looking at a manual review of more than 50,000 purchases. Each of those purchases contains multiple items, and so this has been a really intensive process and has taken a bit of time to conduct.
So what about the data? What does it say so far on the reviews that have been done? Well, the State Board reported today that through 75% of the review, they believe about 80% of all purchases are okay. And you can see there about 50,000 students saw a total of just under $50 million in funds sent across Idaho. They tell us that about 7% of purchases appears to be things that really aren't covered in the program. Smartwatches, cleaning supplies, TVs, things of that nature. However, there is some gray area with another 13% of purchases that the State Board wants the review committee for their program to look at.
These would be things like ballet shoes and karate uniforms that a student might be using in the legitimate pursuit of a physical education course they're enrolled in. It might be items like backpacks or computer cases that are really essential equipment for those students. So rather than notifying all of those parents that they're instantly ineligible, we've decided to take that as a package to the panel and ask the panel to have a discussion about whether or not they want to make a recommendation to this board.
So here we are. The reviews will continue, and we expect to see some major moves between now and July 10th when the next review session is up. State Board acknowledges the issues and says that they want to have everything fixed and in place by the fall. And the general consensus from the discussion today from the State Board, the program is good when operating how it should. Fixes need to be made. So we'll keep a close eye on this, specifically if Idaho can get money back from the ineligible purchases. Now, this whole situation struck a chord with you at home. We saw some of your text messages asking how this will impact the possibility of an ESA program. We can't say, but there seems to be two popular camps we'll just highlight. People who say that the securities on the new program worked, found the issues that can be fixed. Others say it's a bad omen for future programs like it, highlighting that it's a good chance that tax dollars will not be used for the right thing. Time will tell.